Hello, it is Tuesday and I've not been on my run today and I didn't do any exercise yesterday, primarily because we had a family emergency. Long story short, my niece and my youngest, well, two of my youngest, I don't even know where to start with this. Long story short, my youngest niece and my second youngest nephew got involved in a car accident on Sunday night, along with some other family members on their dad's side, and my niece and nephew were rushed to hospital. My nephew suffered quite a big cut from the seatbelt, and he also suffered a broken hip, but other than that, he was fine, and thankfully had surgery the next day and is making a fantastic recovery, physically at least. My niece got rushed into ICU. She had a hole in her trachea, I believe, was caused by the seatbelt and why the seatbelt was sitting on her throat. She ended up in ICU because as well as the hole in her trachea, there was also liquid pooling in her abdomen and they wasn't too sure where it was coming from. So she has been in ICU since Sunday night, and the whole family have been worried about her and her brother. So naturally, none of us slept on Sunday night, especially not my sister, their mum. She spent the whole night at hospital. And yesterday, me and my other sister and my mum all went to the hospital to support her and spend time with our niece and nephews to make sure they were okay, to allow my sister to get a rest and also get some bits done that she couldn't do while she was looking after the kids at the hospital. So that's why I didn't get any exercise done yesterday. I actually finished work early. I cancelled half of my walks because I was so distracted and went to the hospital to be with my family. My niece did look like she was in a bad way. She didn't actually look like my niece because of the swelling from the air under her skin. And for a lot of it, I was just at a loss for words. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how, for the first time ever, I didn't know how to comfort my sister. I didn't know how to support her. And I just, at that moment, I can't even imagine the thoughts, the fears, the worries, and the feelings that was going through her for her children. When we left last night, my niece was still unconscious and was on oxygen, and she was on so much medication to make sure she was okay. She was having blood tests left, right and centre. But we did get told just before we left that she had been taken off oxygen and she was breathing on her own, which was great. So last night after we left, we were told that they were going to attempt to wake my niece up later that day. Naturally, second night in the row, none of my family slept well. Thankfully, my sister finally did get some sleep. I think she'd been awake for nearly 30 odd hours by this point. She finally got to get some sleep to recover. And then at something like 1 o'clock in the morning, my sister sent out an email, by which point we were all asleep. We were all unconscious ourselves. None of us got a good night's sleep again, but we were all unconscious for that particular period in time. And we got the message to say that my niece had been successfully woken up and that she had been conscious and she was trying to pull her cables and her drips off her chest and everything, which was the biggest relief in the world. And my sister said that she could finally get a good night's sleep. If nothing else, we know that my nephew is going to make a full recovery and my niece is on her way to a full recovery. It is looking positive, thankfully. So yeah, that's been my last 2 days. I'm trying to include as little information as possible because it's a very personal matter and I don't want to put too much on the internet when it comes to personal things and my family. That's why I've not done any exercise for the last 2 days. It's been emotional. It's been an emotional few days. I did try to go on my run this morning, but my brain is just not quite with it yet. I ended up sat on my phone for half an hour checking for updates, checking messages, reading messages, and before I knew it was actually too late to leave the house to go for a run. I've moved my run to tomorrow and I'm going to attempt to do my run tomorrow morning now that I know my niece and nephew are safe. And I'm actually going to go and see my niece and nephew and my sister again tonight so that if my sister needs any help or if she needs me to sit with either my nephew or my niece while she spends time with the other one, I will happily do that. But that's going to be the only update for today because I am emotionally spent. I am exhausted and I need to be there for my family for the rest of the day. So I will see you guys in the next video, which will be my week 2 of marathon training, I think, or something like that. I will see you guys then when I am more well rested and my mind is more at ease, and I know that my sister and my niece and nephew are okay. Thank you for watching, and I will update you at a later date.